Welcome to Crucial Conversations for Radical Educators. I am Dr. Eghosa Obaizamomwan-Hamilton, and I'm excited to join today's webinar and share insights on the intersections of Black women's hair and education. In this session, I'll offer a short teaser of what we'll cover, key takeaways, and a few practical next steps you could apply right away. So thank you for joining. This session will be with a panel of other Black women where we get to engage in conversations around our hair. Ultimately, this session is rooted in my work, which has grown from my dissertation to a book, Articulations, a Radical Methodology for Black Pedagogy, Redefining Education Through Black Women's Hair Experiences. And really, that work is trying to explore how Black women's hair experiences can serve as a framework for reimagining pedagogy, identity, resistance, particularly in educational spaces. And what this session will essentially provide is conversation, stories, and really an excavation of why we should be looking at this particular point of intersection for Black women educators. So today I'll give a little briefing about why Black hair is important, why Black women, and why Black women educators, and how all three of these kind of connect to the work that we'll be talking about within this session, and why it's important for us to explore as educators. First, why Black women? I think that in a lot of research, you'll see that Black women have been relegated to the bottom in a lot of aspects of society, whether it's misogynoir or the multiple intersections that impact our ability to move through the world. Focusing on Black women made sense. Not only is it my positionality, but I can speak from both a place of experience, but also building community with other Black women to really excavate these understandings about how we are able to traverse a world that is often trying to keep us subjugated. And particularly in the field of education, centering Black women is important work given the historical impact that Black women have had. And so thinking about how Black women in society have been able to maintain mind, body, spirit through some of these anti-Black ethos has been really important. So that's like a starting point to really understanding why we're talking about Black women specifically. When it comes to Black hair, really there's such an interconnected tie between Black women's position in society and Black hair, particularly coarse Black hair. So if you're using the hair scale, thinking about 4C, the coarsest hair that is identified, that hairstyle is relegated to the bottom in the same way Black women are. And by that, I mean there are ways in which our hair may prevent us from access to spaces, jobs, raises, even beauty standards. And that's something that I don't know that we're talking enough about in general, but in particularly how that impacts the educational institution for both Black women educators and Black girls. So really important work. And I want us to think about how Black hair is really a site of both literal and figurative explanation of our experiences. And why Black women educators? I think when you think about education, the start of public school, Black women have always been pivotal during the times when there were compulsory anti-literacy laws. Black women were finding ways to bring in the community and to teach, to make sure that folks knew how to read, how to critically think about their position in society. When we had segregated schools, Black women were critical to engaging in ways that increase the sense of self for Black students that were really rooted in a critical pedagogy, a humanizing pedagogy. And even today, although the number of Black women have decreased quite substantially, the impact is still there. A student who has a Black woman educator at least once in their life has a better chance of going to college, of going to college and exceeding, some of the academic limitations that are often placed on Black children. And so I think just throughout history, we know the impact of Black women, and it's important for us to think about our role in education. And by doing all of this, by thinking about Black women, by thinking about Black hair, by thinking about education, it helps us better understand what Black women are bringing as teachers, so what they're bringing to the practice, how their pedagogy is impacted by their understanding of self through hair, and how students are then receiving the nourishment that comes by way of Black women educators within this space. So this critical conversation is really to bring these stories to the forefront, to be in conversation with other Black women who have their own unique journeys along the way. And really, hopefully, my goal with not only this work, this session, but my book is to really allow Black women the space to unearth the hair stories that have had an impact on their educational trajectory, their career trajectory, their sense of self. So I hope everyone will join us and look forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you. Where, I hope I recorded that. Oh, I did. Okay.